Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters and welcome to my craft room. Today we're going to be playing with the Made to Surprise Pop-Up Bouquet dies. Now these are the dies. We get 4 dies in this kit, and this is what I do when I get my die sets. I put them on some magnetic sheets as well as some 300 GSM cardstock. So we have a large die, a medium die and 2 smaller dies, and that will make the mechanism that sits into our card. Then these dies are the basket and gift bag die sets. So this one is for the basket, this is for the rim of the basket, and then the other piece is for the gift bag. Now I won't be using that, I'm going to use the basket for the front of mine. So I've die cut out one of the large pieces and 3 of the medium pieces in the pink, and I also die cut out those 2 smaller dies. They're the little bits for our images to pop up on. So you can see here I've die cut out the basket as well as the basket edge or the lip. And when you die cut it out, if you leave your piece in the die, you can take some Distress Oxide or any kind of ink and blend around as I have done. Now I've gone heavy around the edge, but I haven't gone so heavy around the center. Do be careful with these dies, they're sharp. I had a couple of cuts from them. But you can see here how everything has come out. I've gone back around the edges after I took the papers out of the dies and blended over again, and it gives me this really fun look for our basket. So I have this gatefold card. My card base measures 12 by 6. I've scored it at 3 and 9, and then our mechanism and our pop-up piece will sit in the center there, and our little gates will close over it. Now I have some pattern papers here that I'll be using, and it's called Enchanted Wood. I have 4 pieces of these pattern paper measuring 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and they're for the gates or the doors of our gatefold card. So I'll have 2 on the outside and 2 on the inside. Now inside, like I said, we'll have our mechanism, so you don't need to embellish that if you don't want to. I haven't, but you can, it's up to yourself. So from the Enchanted Wood, I have some ephemera, and these are all my pieces. Now with Sam's set, you get flowers that you can put in there, but you can use anything. One of the stamp sets from the Love from Lizi Enchanted Wood kit that I used is this fairy, which I colored in, and I've stamped 2 sentiments, and these are from the Made to Surprise sentiment sets, and I'll leave everything I can links to down below. So with this card, I'm going to put a belly band on, and I have 2 strips here. They measure 11 3/4 by 1 1/2 for the white one, and 11 3/4 by 1 1/4 for the pink one. I'm going to add my little fairy onto that belly band where the 2 will join. I have my main mechanism panel here and the 3 panels that sit into that. So they've gone through my die cutting machine. Sam does encourage you to score along the score lines just to reinforce those score lines. So I have that done with all the score lines on these pieces already. So all you need to do is go ahead and do that yourself. Okay, so next we're going to look at the mechanism piece. Now I'm going to fold and burnish all the score lines that are on this piece, and you can see some of them fold towards me, and then these little ones, they fold away from me. So those tabs there on the left of my hand are going to attach to those 3 panels, and it'll all become clearer as we start putting it together. I'm going to leave a link to Sam's tutorial down below so you can pop over and have a look there as well. Okay, so now we need to attach these pieces. So I have this fold facing towards me, and I'm going to add some glue to these pieces here. So along these tabs, we're going to add a little bit of our liquid glue. You can use a double-sided tape here if you like, but I like to use the liquid glue. It gives me a bit of wiggle room. We need to make sure that this panel is butted up against each side there on the left and right, and then we wrap this little piece, this flap, over on top of it. So we're going to do that for all 3 of them. So again, I'll add some liquid glue to my little tab here, And then I'm going to bring this piece right up to where the score line is, making sure it's centered on the mechanism panel, then fold over the tab and press down. And again for our third tab. And this is really easy to do, folks, and it gives such a wonderful impact in the card. I think these are my new favorites. I really do like the look of this finished card. Okay, so we have all our panels in. Now I'm folding them down towards me, and these 3 tabs we want to glue. We're going to fold over our main mechanism piece, and that is going to give us our little box inside our gatefold that we can attach our ephemera or our stamped and inked pieces to. They are what's going to pop up, and this is the piece that they're going to pop up on from. So again, I'm using the liquid glue on all these 3 tabs all along the bottom, and then I'm going to fold over this panel on top and press down on that. Now give your glue a little minute to dry or to set, because you want to make sure that these are firmly in place. And once that's done, then you can pop up this piece. Now there is one score line there I forgot to burnish, but it's no worries. I'm going to just fold that over, and then I'm trying to do it so you'll be able to see, and then burnish that last score line. This tab and the one beside it, they are what's going to get glued on to the inside of our card. So this is the top part in here, and then those tabs are the back part, and it just drops down like so when we want to close over our gatefolds on our card. I just love it. I think this is such a clever mechanism, and the fact you could put anything in here is just wonderful. So I've got my card base now, and I'm going to glue down all my pattern papers. I'm going to do that before I move to the inside and the mechanism. And I have to say, I love these pattern papers that I got in the Love from Lizi kit. They are just so pretty and so cute. So we'll put the last one here on the inside. Now our center panel that I've left white, you can put pattern paper there, you can stamp images on there, or you can fill it up with your ephemera. So I'm going to put some liquid glue on these 2 tabs, and I'm going to then put this into the card. It needs to be centered in our white panel between our 2 gatefold doors. We also need to make sure that it's level with the bottom of our card base, and then once you apply pressure and allow that to set, it just sits like so. Perfect. And then all we have to do is press it down to flatten it to our card. Now I'm going to attach my little pink basket that I have here, and I think with the flower stamps that come if you get this collection, it's fabulous for someone who isn't well and is maybe in hospital, because you know hospitals don't really like the idea of flowers so much now in rooms. So this is lovely. Or even if you have someone who's allergic to flowers, you know, pollen or whatnot. So I'm going to add some foam to some of the parts, especially to this top of the basket. Now you don't have to do this. I know with Sam's, she just glues everything down, but I just thought the little bit of dimension there would be fab, and it doesn't add much to the actual card, you know, when it's closed. Okay, so I've taken the little tabs that we had, those 2 smaller dies, and I'm going to add some of my ephemera to them. So a little bit of glue to the fairy, and then a little bit to the tab there. Now we want to make sure the fairy, when she's lying flat, she doesn't go above the top of our card. That way when we close up the mechanism, everything is going to fit inside. So just each time you're adding a piece of ephemera or a stamped image, just fold it down, see how it looks, and then glue it. Now I have these large mushroom ephemera pieces. I'm going to glue them onto the back of the card base, and it's going to fill up that white space. Sorry there about my camera. I think I had it on autofocus, but I think that's the last time it'll go blurry like that. So I have all my little pieces of ephemera here now, and I'm going to add them on to all these little tabs for us to stick into our card base. So I've that done through the magic of editing, and now we can add them to the card. this lovely little deer. I thought it was so cute. So instead of just gluing it to the front of my basket, I'm using some foam tape. And the same with this piece of floral ephemera. I'm going to add that between my two mushrooms at the back. Now this foam tape is very slim. It's not a thick foam tape at all, so it doesn't add a lot of bulk to my card. And my card still closes beautifully. It still fits in an envelope. I'm going to pop this into a box envelope that I've made, and that way, because I will hand it to the person I'm giving it to. But like I said, you don't have to add the foam. You can just glue everything down and it will fold flat, go into a 6x6 envelope, and wham bam, there you go, slap it into the post. Job done. So you can see here, every time I go to add a piece of ephemera, I pop it in. I have a look to make sure it's going to sit nicely once the basket is folded down. And it's so quick to do once you have your little images and things. It really is. It's just so cool. And even my husband, when he came in and he saw it, he said to me, wow, that's really nice. So that's high praise right there, you know? So there we go. I can fold everything down. I'm just tucking my little deer's antlers in there. And you can see there is a little bit of bulk, but I'm quite happy with that. I like some dimension on my card. So now I'm wrapping my belly band around from the back to the front, and you can see here it doesn't join in the middle, but that's okay, because I'm going to take my little fairy and I'm going to glue her onto the belly band, so she will sit astride the opening there, and she will have, you know, with her glued in place, that'll keep it closed. And I love this little fairy image. I colored her in with some of my watercolor pencils, and I really enjoy doing that. It's a simple image that you can just color, you know, flat down, or you can add, you know, if you're really good at coloring in, you can give her dimension. But I'm such a newbie at coloring. I was chuffed though with how it came out. So you see me there, I'm just kind of lining up my fairy where I want her and looking to see how far I can put the glue on. I didn't want to put the glue on her because she's over the top and down below the bottom. But you can see how nicely this slides off, and then wham, there you go. Our little basket pops down and we have all our images inside. I think it's so cool and such a different style of card. I think this is a wonderful birthday card, and I hope the person I give it to really, really likes it. So that's it, folks. That is our tutorial for today, using the Made to Surprise Pop-Up Bouquet dies, as well as the Love from Lizi Enchanted Wood pattern paper and ephemera. I leave links to everything down below that I can, and that's available. I hope you've enjoyed my video, and if you did, you might consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing, and if not, click on the bell icon down below when you click on the subscribe. That way you'll be notified when I post new videos. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, take care and bye for now.